Urgent, Chiefs Kingdom fan. Look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest Chiefs Kingdom news, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Breaking: Chiefs on the brink of huge trade report. The Kansas City Chiefs felt what it's like to get humiliated in the Super Bowl for the second time in the last 5 years. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers demolished the Chiefs 3-19 in Super Bowl LV, while the Philadelphia Eagles did the same in 2025. Kansas City knows that a few roster moves will be necessary to recement themselves atop of the NFL world. One of those moves could be coming in the next few days. Breaking: Chiefs on the brink of huge trade report. Following a humiliating loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 59, the Kansas City Chiefs are reportedly considering a blockbuster move in next week's NFL Draft. Andy Reid and the Chiefs hold the number 31 selection in the 2025 NFL Draft, with the Super Bowl champion Eagles slated to close out round 1 with the number 32 pick. But if the Chiefs get their way, they'll pick earlier than 31st. According to ESPN's Matt Miller, Kansas City is actively looking to trade up in round 1. Miller reports that if the Chiefs were to move up, it would likely be for a long-term offensive tackle, specifically to get ahead of the Houston Texans and Los Angeles Rams. Have heard that the Kansas City Chiefs are actively looking to trade up in round 1. They signed left tackle Jaylon Moore in free agency, but were otherwise quiet, opting to resign their own versus hitting the open market. A move up in round 1 would likely be for a long-term offensive tackle solution. I heard the goal would be to move in front of the Houston Texans number 25 and Los Angeles Rams number 26 if the Chiefs like a specific left tackle still on the board. The Kansas City Chiefs moved up in round 1 of last year's draft, obtaining the number 28 pick from the Buffalo Bills to select speedy wideout Xavier Worthy. The Bills got the number 32 selection as part of the return, though they traded down to number 33 in another deal with the Carolina Panthers. Kansas City GM Brett Veach traded superstar guard Joe Thuney to the Chicago Bears in a surprise move, opening up one void on the O-line. The team also has to make room to extend Trey Smith, who was assigned the franchise tag. The Chiefs have 8 total draft picks in the 2025 draft, number 31, 63, 66, via the Tennessee Titans in the Algeria Sneed trade, 95, 133, 226, 251, and 257. The Chiefs had one of the league's best offensive lines from 2021 to 2024, but the unit was absolutely exposed in their 40-22 blowout loss to Philadelphia in the Super Bowl. Replacing Joe Thuney's consistent production is easier said than done, and veteran offensive tackle Jawan Taylor has been a liability. So would it be a surprise if Kansas City didn't address the O-line in the early rounds of next week's draft? Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest Chiefs Kingdom news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. Major NFL receiver trade rumor tied to Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs offense was hard hit by injuries last season, with Rashee Rice and Marquise Brown missing the majority of the year. That left Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce, Juju Smith-Schuster, Justin Watson, and DeAndre Hopkins to share the load, which they did. But now, with Hopkins in Baltimore with the Ravens and the Chiefs bringing back Brown and Smith-Schuster, there is a little void in the receiver room. Yes, Rice is coming back, but players in their first year post-ACL injury aren't their usual selves. As such, maybe another body should be brought into the receiver room. For Bleacher Reports, Christopher Knox, he's named Tennessee Titans receiver. Treylon Burks as a potential solution for the Chiefs, naming the AFC champs as a potential landing spot. In Kansas City, Burks, 6'2", 225, could bring size to the receiver lineup to help replace DeAndre Hopkins, who signed with the Baltimore Ravens in free agency, Knox writes. Burks is coming off an ACL injury that ended his season after just 5 games last year, and the fact that he only has 699 yards and 1 touchdown in 3 NFL seasons doesn't paint a picture of a receiver who can be a big addition. But sometimes a chance for scenery is needed, and a player can rediscover his form. Exactly what the Chiefs would have to part with is unknown, but based on his recent production and the ACL injury, it likely wouldn't be much. Burks and his 6'2" frame could be a nice depth piece for the Chiefs, and when Andy Reid is your play caller, you are always in with a shot of having something good happen. A phone call to the Titans to check out the trade cost here wouldn't be the worst idea. Chiefs preparing to discuss extensions. With Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, the Tyreek Hill trade gave the Chiefs 2 first-round picks in 2022. They used their own first-rounder on George Karlaftis and traded up for Trent McDuffie with the pick. The Dolphins sent them via the 49ers for Hill. Both defenders are now extension eligible. McDuffie and Karlaftis have been central cogs during the Chiefs' franchise apex, each starting in 3 Super Bowls. While franchise-tagged guard Trey Smith will be the team's top extension priority after the draft, GM Brett Veach indicated via NFL.com's Kevin Patra dialogue with the 2022 first-rounders is expected to occur as well. Veach's stance makes it fairly clear the Chiefs plan to exercise the 5th-year options in each defender's contract. That will buy the team time, as the options being exercised would keep the 2022 draftees signed through 2026. McDuffie's option has certainly never appeared in doubt, as the versatile cornerback has booked first and second-team All-Pro nods over the past 2 years. Though the NFL still using Pro Bowl's original ballot only as a key option determinant will reduce the cost of that 2026 number, McDuffie has yet to be selected for a Pro Bowl, keeping his option number at just 1363 to Mummer. This exposes a bit of a flaw in the league's updated option format, but it will benefit the Chiefs. Karlaftis has started 44 games in 3 seasons, registering 24. 5 sacks in that time and not missing any games due to injury. Operating as a Frank Clark sidekick as a rookie, the Purdue product took over as the team's top edge rusher after Clark's 2023 release. The Chiefs have retained auxiliary edge players in recent years, resigning Michael Dana in 2024 and Charles Omenihu last month, but Karlaftis remains their top outside rusher. The team has not seen 2023 first-round pick Felix Anudike-Uzomah contribute, much which should give Karlaftis more leverage once extension talks start. McDuffie's extension roadmap will be more interesting on multiple levels. The Chiefs' Andy Reid year's MO at this position has been to deploy low-cost talent at corner in order to devote funds to other areas on the roster. This has led to Marcus Peters, Steven Nelson, Kendall Fuller, Charvarius Ward, and Algerius Sneed finding their second contracts elsewhere via trade or free agency. The team deviated from that blueprint a bit this offseason, however, signing Christian Fulton to a 2-year deal. Fulton will be expected to start opposite McDuffie, as the Chiefs did not see Jalen Watson establish consistency during an injury-marred year replacing Sneed. Kansas City has also used McDuffie in the slot regularly, though the team cut back on that considerably in 2024. McDuffie, 24, saw his slot snaps drop from 448 in 2023 to 138 last season. Staying on the perimeter stands to help McDuffie extension-wise. Our latest trade rumors front office piece examined the disparity between the outside and slot corner markets, though McDuffie manning both spots effectively will up his market. The 49ers use Diamador Lenoir both inside and on the boundary. His contract 5 years, $89. $8 million as reflects it, coming in well north of where the pure slot market has settled. Karlaftis, 24, will not command a top market edge extension, but McDuffie will undoubtedly aim high at corner. Considering the Chiefs' spending pattern at the position, McDuffie's market will provide an interesting test. The low 5th-year option number gives Kansas City some leverage once talks begin, but the team completing an extension before the Jets pay Sauce Gardner would probably be a wise move, as the NFL could certainly have 2 $30 million per year corners after Derek Stingley Jr.'s deal once the no extension eligible Gardner is paid. Why the Chiefs' low-key offseason thus far is no reason to panic. Many in Chiefs Kingdom and around the NFL coverage multiverse have shown varying levels of concern surrounding the Chiefs' seemingly quiet offseason. Should fans be concerned? Not so. Fast. Sports in 2025 are a much different beast than they've ever been. As a society, we've traded the simpler times of reading about our favorite teams in newspapers and checking box scores on a handful of websites for an era in which every person with a pulse and a set of thumbs can instantly publish their, sometimes, rational thoughts and always well-thought-out opinions to multiple platforms online. I cannot condemn this practice without such technological evolutions. You wouldn't be reading my thoughts and opinions on Arrowhead Addict. But I will say that it has certainly created an appetite for instant gratification among fan bases in every sport across the world. When a season ends like the Chiefs' 2024 campaign, digiting back alley beaten in front of the entire world by a team whose strengths were the exact weaknesses that got the Chiefs in a hole they could not dig out of, the calls for change are loud. and expected to be met immediately. The front office's track record be damned. We as a fan base do not care that Brett Veach and the Chiefs front office have built and rebuilt a championship roster multiple times in the last 6 seasons. It doesn't matter that the Chiefs have been in 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls and won 3 of them. We just got embarrassed by the Eagles. They had great offensive and defensive lines, something we've been clamoring for years. Fix it now, Brett. Sure, easier said than done. But as the offseason kicked off, the expectation, whether you consider it rational or irrational, was for Kansas City to address the fact that we once again saw Patrick Mahomes scrambling for his life on football's biggest stage. After the Chiefs lost to the Buccaneers in Super Bowl 55, Kansas City immediately orchestrated a trade for Orlando Brown Jr. So what did Kansas City do this time? Traded away, arguably the team's best offensive lineman, the 2024 team MVP Joe Thuney. Wait, what? The Chiefs needed to ramp up protection for their all-world QB, not tear it down. Surely there's another move in the holster, right? Some Chiefs fans shouldn't be so concerned about the team's off-season approach. Yes, the Chiefs signed Jalen Moore, who was the 49ers' backup left tackle a season ago. How underwhelming. Outside of some other minor transactions, there really haven't been any needle-moving moves to this point for the Chiefs, which to some is cause for concern. But allow me to pose a question to those of you who have leaned into the school of thought that what the Chiefs have done isn't enough. What have the AFC's other contenders done? The Bills, who the Chiefs once again conquered in the AFC title game in 2024, signed the other Bosa brother, Josh Palmer, Laviska Shenault, and 2 defensive linemen who they weren't aware would be suspended for a good portion of the 2025 season. Baltimore basically stood firm outside of bringing in a receiver who had 56 catches for just over 600 yards a season ago in DeAndre Hopkins. The Texans traded away Laramie Tunsil but extended the core of a good young secondary. The biggest movers and shakers in the AFC were the Chargers and Broncos, but do we wholeheartedly believe that when push comes to shove, Justin Herbert and Bo Nix have what it takes to stare down Mahomes in games that matter and not be the first to blink? It may be best if we all just sit back and wait to see what happens with the NFL draft, where certain veteran free agents land, and how Andy Reid and his staff develop the NFL's 6th youngest roster from a season ago. We also need to remember that while the loss in Super Bowl 59 was embarrassing and did sting quite a bit, the Chiefs' dynasty is still very much in its championship window. Unlike some other contenders in the NFL, the Chiefs did not lose a single coordinator, nor did they sustain any massive losses from their core outside of a guard. He may be the best guard in the NFL, but he's still a guard no matter how much nostalgia and pride we want to attach to his name. The Chiefs will be just fine. 31 other NFL fan bases would love to have the type of stressors that we have here in Kansas City. Perspective is always important, as is remaining in the moment. Don't get too far ahead of yourself from a 2025 season outlook standpoint, and don't harbor any worries about what the Chiefs haven't done yet in free agency. Brett Veach has authored a few masterclass drafts recently, the coaching staff has developed young talent in an almost unparalleled way, and Kansas City is still home to the game's most notorious competitor in Patrick Mahomes. Breathe it will all be okay. And now, Chiefs fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for Chiefs. I'll be back any moment with more Chiefs Kingdom news.